Okay, this is part 3 of cash flow identity. Then I'm gonna just keep expanding the identity, the equation. Okay, then uh, now if I just move the terms, I'm gonna keep removing the terms. I'm gonna be identifying different terms. For example, which terms are belong to creditors, which terms, cash flow terms, because all of these items are cash flow terms. We can identify them as a cash flow terms. Every item is at the end of the day, it gotta be a cash flow. Okay, then what happens if I try to identify all the cash flows that are related to creditors like banks or financial institutions? Okay, then I can start identifying those items or components. Is interest expenses is one of them, and the other one is are these two. Okay, the difference, the delta in long-term debt and delta in current financial liability. Then what happens if I just move these three terms to the left hand side? Okay, then since interest expenses it has a negative uh, before the amount, then I'm gonna put here interest expenses now with positive. Then since long-term debt and current financial liability have positive sign, then I'm gonna put a negative sign, and I'm gonna put them in parentheses, long-term debt plus delta of current financial liability. Okay, and this is whoops this is cash flow to creditors. Okay, then I'm gonna think in the terms that are related to shareholders or go to or belong to shareholders. Then I'm gonna put plus. Then which term belong to shareholders is dividends. Okay, dividends are here. Okay, and also the delta of common stock and the delta of preferred stock. Then since dividends is negative, now it becomes positive, plus dividends of time t, and the common stock and the preferred stock have a positive sign. I'm gonna move them to the left hand side. Okay, this is part of the left hand side. Then it's gonna be plus is preferred stock plus common stock. I'm putting them in parentheses. Then these two are basically negative in the equation. Okay, then these terms represent cash flow to shareholders. Okay, then now I'm gonna put equal to. Then I'm gonna try to identify the cash flow that basically that is generated by the operations of the company. Then the terms are gonna be sales times t minus cost of goods sold minus sales and general administrative expenses minus taxes. Okay, this is basically, we can identify this as cash flow from operations. Okay, then what is left? I'm gonna put plus. What is left? I finish with I'm gonna put with another color quickly, with yellow. I finish with this one, 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 with this and this. Then I only end up having few terms. Okay, then which are those terms? Okay, and those terms are basically current assets, right? That is in the left hand side, and current liability. Okay, then just putting attention to the signs, instead of plus I'm gonna subtract them minus delta of current asset, because in the left hand side is positive, now is in the right hand side now is negative. And I'm gonna put minus delta of current liability, because now minus times minus is plus. This is correct because current liability is in the right hand side. Okay, then this one, it is called cash, is a cash flow invested in net working capital. Okay, is cash flow invested in net working capital, because it's current liabilities minus current asset. The delta of current asset minus the delta of current liability is basically how much money the company invested in net working capital for one period to the next one. Okay, then what is missing? If I go, then I eliminated this, then I eliminated this, then I just end up with net fixed asset, the delta of net fixed asset, and the depreciation. Okay, then it's the only thing that I am missing. Then I'm gonna put them here. I'm gonna put them as minus delta of net fixed assets plus minus depreciation, because depreciation here is positive, is negative. Okay, then since this is negative, then negative minus times minus is plus. Then no, I'm wrong. It has to be a plus. Right, gotta be a plus here. Okay, then the depreciation term becomes negative as it is here. Okay, then what this represents? This basically represents the cash flow invested in what? In capital expenditure. Okay, expenditure. Why? Because it is the difference of net fixed asset, how much money the company invested in next fixed asset from one period to the next, and plus the depreciation. This is plus, but this is in a negative way. Then this is going to be basically the money the company invested in capital expenditure. Okay, then this is basically the cash flow identity. We ended up to the main formula, that is cash flow to creditors plus cash flow to shareholders. It's going to be equal to cash flow from operations minus cash flow invested in net working capital minus cash flow invested in capital expenditure. Okay, then this basically makes sense, because now you're saying that the company, this is the core engine of the company. Okay, cash flow from operation. The company gotta make so much cash flow that after keeping money for net working capital and for the short-term operations, and after keeping money for the long-term investment in assets, can be in assets to grow, such as technology, a new plant, a new facilities, a new building, new machine, or it can be just in maintenance for expansion. Okay, then this is kind of the long-term investment, and the short-term investment is in net working capital. And after the company puts some money in this inside the company, then what is left over, it is what is the cash flow that goes to creditors first, okay, to the banks first, and after the rest, that is the remaining, is the money that goes to shareholders. Okay, then I just wanted to show you how basically this identity illustrates how the company, any organization, creates wealth. It creates wealth through the operations, through the revenue, the sales of the company, minus the different costs of the company. Okay, and basically company gotta make so much cash flow from operations to pay all the different cash flows to keep alive, okay, in the short term, in the long term, right, and also to comply with the debt to the banks or to creditors. And at the end of the day, at the end of the list, the shareholders are going to receive what is left. Okay, then I'm going to stop here.